Do you want to talk a little bit more about what Smart Guide's going to do?
Sure. So there's actually a number of expansions of Smart Guide that are planned. The biggest one that I would think of is adding additional features to kind of move from protecting against the negative towards guiding towards the positive, right? So not just a matter of, how do I make sure I'm not tripping any rules or best practices here and going in the wrong direction, but more importantly, how can I do more? How can I generate more traffic? How can I reach my audience with more relevant content that they're going to love that's also fresh? There are some really interesting examples here. Folks were asking about SmartLoop, for instance, where we see some paths to actually update SmartLoop and add some additional intelligence there, where maybe we can do things like help identify which posts are ready for a content refresh so that you can really focus your time and energy on creating new content in places where it's going to make a big impact, just as an example. So I think that's the biggest change that I would call out. And as we're going through those phases, one of the big questions is, how do we provide really actionable, easy to understand recommendations? So also I'd say, as you are working in Tailwind and if you start experiencing Smart Guide recommendations, again, a lot of folks are going to get an all clear and won't see anything initially. But if you do, we would also love to hear from you if you don't feel the recommendations are clear enough, if you want more guidance, if you want more direction. Like that type of product feedback and messaging feedback is super helpful so that we can help guide you in the best way possible.
Hey, Danny, you want to show some of those print screens?
Yeah, sure. We can flash those up.
Okay.
So I'm ready.
Which one do you want first?
I can go to any of them. Show me. Yeah.
Okay.
Whichever order you want to go in.
Yeah. Okay.
Sure.
So here's what most people will see, right?
Yeah, exactly. This is an example of an all clear notification. So the little Smart Guide, the heart with a check or with kind of like a heartbeat signal in it is something that you'll want to look out for throughout Tailwind. That basically means this is part of the Smart Guide feature, which I didn't mention, but that's being included in all Tailwind Plus plans. So, there's no added cost for this. It's just an additional benefit and value add to the service. But that's how you know that a recommendation or a notice that you're seeing is coming from Smart Guide. So in this case, it's saying for your pinning frequency in particular here, you're in line with current best practices. We'll keep monitoring your account for opportunities. So here's an example of an all clear type of message.
Oh, great. Okay. And then we have another one. All right. Spam safeguard action required. Is this Smart Guide as well?
Yes, this is Smart Guide. Again, we've got the heartbeat there, but it's lit up this time, right? So this is an indication that, there's something here that you need to pay attention to or want to pay attention to. And there's kind of, sub features within Smart Guide. So the spam safeguard is one of those sub features that's saying, okay, we've detected an action here which might put your account at risk of being flagged as spam, or, Lucy mentioned that if folks are going overboard, right, like that's when they might see the risk of things like penalties or suspensions on accounts. We don't want any Tailwind members to fall into that bucket. We want to help you steer clear of that. So this would be an example of, okay, there's an action required, and click on this and figure out what you want to do.
Yes, and kudos to Melissa for sacrificing her account for these screenshots. Here we can see clearly we've got the identical pins, one right after another. So if I click on that notice there, I'm going to get more information, and it's going to tell me how to fix it.
Yeah, it's going to give you guidance on how to fix it. Again, this is an area just I personally want to highlight that if that guidance doesn't feel specific enough or you want more information, perfect type of thing, reach out to us. You've got the chat directly in Tailwind. You can email help@tailwindapp.com. That'll reach our customer success team. But especially, post-launch and rollout here, we're going to be really looking at that feedback hard and figuring out, okay, where can we make it clearer? Where can we improve things? So hopefully it's pretty clear already. If it's not, let us know. We want to hear
that. Okay, so let's talk specifically about a couple of the things that Lucy mentioned that I feel like people are going to have some extra questions about. So, and again, we do have that Typeform survey. So if we don't cover the question that you have, please do fill out that type form. We're going to share that with Pinterest, look at it ourselves. It's bit.ly/Pinterest live feedback, all lowercase, all one word.